Today I want to talk about shame and how it impacts our sexuality and relationships. We are social creatures, and so feeling accepted and valued by our social connections are critical for our emotional well-being. Shame has been used in every culture around the globe since the beginning of man. It's a tool used to socialize us and make us behave in a way that some feel is beneficial to the overall group. Shame can often disconnect us from our bodily sensation and limit our self-expression. It's one of the key reasons behind sexual dysfunction and ability to express our needs and desires clearly and openly. Shame makes us hide away and avoid social judgment. Social judgment and rejection can be devastating for our human emotions, so we naturally avoid it at all costs. As we learn to hide away our desires and needs, we often lose touch with them completely and forget they exist altogether. Shame is generally based on the fear of social rejection and ridicule. This is one of the strongest ingrained fears because we would not survive without our tribe. The need to fit in and be accepted is ingrained in our brain and nervous system, and the pain of being rejected is so severe we conform to the group's expectation even if it means suppressing ourselves. Our culture's shame around sex makes us highly restrictive. Shame makes us feel like we have to hide who we are and what we really want because we've been socialized to feel that our most natural needs such as sex are not good or should not be expressed openly. Some misinformed souls call women sluts because they have sex with more men. This is a perfect example of shame in action used to control the behavior of women. Many people are ashamed to masturbate, being naked, or explore their sexuality in general. We are often so out of touch with our own bodies, not knowing what turns us on the most mentally and physically. Sexual exploration is generally not encouraged in most homes. This has had a very negative outcome for both genders. Shame has resulted in women being less in touch with their bodies and desires, as they often have not explored them fully. This can lead to less sexual fulfillment, enjoyment, and of course less desire. If we did not shame women about their wonderful and natural sexuality, they would be able to pursue sex themselves. They would have freedom to express what they want more clearly and openly. Let's look at the best way to overcome shame. And that's it to expose it to a supportive, accepting and loving person who will stay connected to you and perhaps show you that your needs are normal, healthy and accepted. If you can share similar experience, then it can also help to normalize what they feel ashamed of. But most of all, they need to experience acceptance of what they feel shame about from another person. Celebrating the desire they're shameful about is also a way to help them demolish the shame. So if they share fantasy, then celebrate the beauty of that fantasy with them. You don't have to fulfill the fantasy, respect your own boundaries and capacity. However, even if it's not something you want to do, you can see the beauty of their expression and sharing part of their deepest self with you. If you feel judgmental, it's likely because it triggers some insecurity in you. It starts with parents, friends, or other key relationships that shames our sexuality when we're young, and so we become inhibited. We often feel inhibited with the ones we love or care about because we learn from the people we love, often our parents, that love is taken away if we are too sexual. We learn to separate love and sex and worry about losing the love and affection if we really reveal our sexuality freely. And in that way, we can only feel sexual and free and experience our peak experiences with people that we maybe feel less attached to. And that really is a shame. So let's talk about how you can deal with shame. First, you need to establish trust. I talk a lot about this in other videos, but start by sharing smaller vulnerabilities with your partner. If your partner is judgmental or lack curiosity about your sexuality, then this is not the exercise to start with, as you're really exposing your vulnerable self here. So this exercise presumes that you've done the work in my other videos on vulnerability and you're in a place of trust, acceptance and used to sharing vulnerable parts of yourself. Talk to your partner about any sexual fantasies that you might not have shared before because you felt ashamed or afraid of being judged. Do you have any fetishes or other things you enjoy that you're hiding from your partner? Here is an amazing chance to get rid of the shame around it, feel closer to your partner and enhance your desire and sexual appetite. Once you've shared them, you both take a moment to hold eye contact and feel their acceptance of you and your desire. This will be very healing and help you feel freer in your sexual expression. This will not only benefit your desire and sexuality, but it will benefit your partners too and your mutual connection. When somebody accepts our most vulnerable parts, it can be one of the most connecting experiences we can have, and it can create deep intimacy and connection. It's very common to experience a shame over, a bit like a hangover, where the day or a few days after you might feel regret having shared this and feel vulnerable and exposed. Just know that it's normal and part of releasing shame. Repeat this exercise until you feel happy sharing it with your partner and perhaps even living it out. Your partner during your fantasies also have many other benefits, as they can use them to enhance your experience. More on this in other videos. Many parents are often uncomfortable with their children's sexuality and their exploration and create guilt by making their children feel shameful. This can often lead to sexual dysfunction from lack of desire, disassociation from our bodily sensation, or other dysfunctions like premature ejaculation. Premature ejaculation can be connected to a feeling of guilt around masturbation, and it has to be done in hiding and finished quickly to not get caught. This is not because parents are bad parents, it's just that we grew up with shame around sex, so we are uncomfortable talking to our children about this. Guilt really is a killer of sexual desire and enjoyment. However, there's also an element of turn on in doing the forbidden and doing what we know is a bit wrong. If guilt is strongly present, then it usually inhibits sexual desire and passion. However, low level of guilt can really create excitement of doing something wrong or getting caught, which can really enhance things, a bit like we talked about anxiety. The reason most women want the man to take initiative sexually is because it allows them to not feel any shame or guilt or risk rejection. As a man, you help women by taking responsibility and encourage their own exploration and acceptance. You can say things like, "I want you to let go for me," and this can really help her sink into her own bodily sensation. Now imagine your mind being a garden. As we grow up, our close relationship make plants, seeds in our unconsciousness that teaches us certain things. When we are grown up, we relate to our body and view it how we have been taught. Once you become aware of the seeds that have been planted, you can choose which to keep and which to get rid of. Poor body image, self-criticism, and shame around sex are major inhibitors in enjoying your sex life fully, so you could choose to get rid of them. Pay attention to what beliefs you want to keep water and which one you want to let dry out. Have fun and see you in the next video.